Okay. Okay, this is good. This is good. For the first time of all this interview I've done, I feel like this is the most warmed up the two people talking have been.
1 hour later.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. All right. So as usual, right? I have 4 questions here for you, and the 4th one is a fun question, lah.
Okay.
It's meant to be informative and really like casual in a way. Okay. So the first 3 are quite stock, but for Rapidbump, it's quite special because it's a 2-parter, right? I spoke to Ina 2 weeks ago, and I'm speaking to you now. So in a way, like, some of the questions here have been remixed a bit based on what I've already covered with Ina. Okay, so the first question, right? When I spoke to Ina last week, she mentioned that she's more towards the financial record keeping and stock, right?
She does the inventory, the finance, some marketing actually. She's also the strategist of marketing.
Yeah, so that is the part that she's covering. But for this interview, I want to go specifically into what parts of Rapidbump are you responsible for, since you're the other half, right?
Okay, yeah. On my side, after the creations of Rapidbump, my position quickly moved into dealing with customers. Some customer support, what do they need? If they need help after drum buying, tukar region and all the stuff, I'll be doing that lah. Secondly is updating the app. If macam ada complaint, it's also related to customer support. If they complain macam, oh, ada bug on my device, then I will deal with that. I will update. If it's urgent and a lot of people having that issue, I will update the app and then I push it Play Store and App Store. So depending ano lah. On the front end, I do design, tapi not so much anymore. And back-end checking, making sure everything else is server is up, nada macam CPU-nya overloaded and all this stuff lah. I think that is all.
Damn, yeah, that's a lot. You mentioned all these servers and all this stuff, right? And I spoke to you before, and basically you're a systems person, so I'm assuming all of that stuff is not third party, right? It's your own.
Server, we don't own it. We host it at the US though. I think the server is now out of Singapore. But it's not like I'm going to Singapore and doing stuff. It's just I'm accessing the admin portal dashboard to the host, and then that's where I do everything. Yeah.
That is still admin management, right? So basically, you are managing the server on your side lah also.
Correct.
Yeah. That's a lot of work though, because usually you would hire someone to do that, right? That's a team thing.
Yeah, we don't have that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. You're actually doing quite a lot. Yeah, that's insane. So...
But you don't have to do that every day long. Only when macam, hey, the app is not working, the customer saying, so yeah, then I have to check lah.
Okay, and you mentioned you're doing a lot of the updating and the bug fixing, and that's kind of related to what you just recently did, right? Which was updating the Android 14 version, which you just announced.
Yes, correct. The compatibility issue with Android 12 and 13 though.
Damn, yeah, congratulations on that, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, this might be a tangent a bit lah, but how was that, updating it for Android 14? What I understand was it wasn't really planned. You had to do it because the terms are changing or something like that?
It was Google changed their punya policy in a way that before, they are not very strict on the API level. You know, yang macam ada Android 9, Android 10, Android 11 kan? So there is a minimum target of API level and there's a target SDK level. What they want to do is every year now your target SDK need to be compatible macam to the latest Android or at least 1 year behind saja. So macam security-nya tu covered and all this stuff lah.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. So that's the latest one. It has to be 1 year behind. So before this it was several years behind lah.
Yes, several years behind.
Okay, so there's more leeway to work with. Okay.
Correct. So now you have to update like 1 year or 2 years later lah.
So now you are up to par with the latest technology. That's awesome. Okay, that's cool. So that is your role there lah. It's dealing with customers and also the...
I would call it operations lah.
Yeah, it's just a team of 2 people, so it makes sense that you are doing a lot of things. Is there anything else you would like to add?
In terms of macam new features, I think both of us are consistently adding into it lah. Macam, oh, it would be cool to have this feature, the rapid point and all this stuff. And how we are going to benefit everyone, like the customer yang we have.
Awesome. It's a collaborative effort lah. So whenever you have new features that you want, you discuss it with Ina together as a team, and then you decide how to implement that.
She have background in manufacturing, right? So she does product development a lot in study lah, in term of study, background. I think part of her thesis was creating, tu namanya, razor blade. Bukan razor blade. You know, yang pakai male untuk mustache na or beard. Yang grooming itu, so she did design that product from the blueprint apa. So yeah, she does product development. So that's why she is very good at macam starting off with prototyping, the process of after prototyping, after testing, then pushing it into product stage. So she has that, I don't know what you call that, product development journey or something. So I can do technical, but she knows this from idea to prototype to pushing it to market stage. She have experience on that. Right now, I know from accelerator courses kan. But before that, masa kami building Rapidbump, I have no clue where to start. I know macam if I want to build website, I just push everything nada macam prototyping apa tu nada. So what ends up is I wasted a lot of time building things yang dah kena pakai.
I think you told me this before. Your specific term was building something.
Yeah, that no one needs.
Now you know that yes, it's possible to build something that people might not actually need. So now you have that in your repertoire. Like you have that like check, which is good, I think.
Yeah.
It's always a good thing. What you said just now is also what Ina said last week about for Rapidbump V2, she ideated it first and then built a prototype and then sent it your way to complete technical respec and stuff, right?
That is correct, yes. She had to learn sendiri tu at that time. I was focusing more to business development lah at the time. Nada technical tu langsung. So we have to figure out macam, I saw this digital statistic yang PlayStation was trying to push into the digital games more than the physical. It was like 20% each year increase dorang punya ni lah, based on dorang punya data. And they are going to push more into digital. So hence masa ni PS5 ada some don't even have the disc version. So from that, I was like macam before kami ada exchange of games kan tau, the idea.
Yes.
And then we wanted to push macam should we start supplying games and then delivery or not? That was what we were thinking at the time. But from the statistic atau, I actually thought it was a signal. Like in 5 years, there will be more shift of moving to digital than hard copy. So if we are going to build the supply chain of getting the disc version and selling at our website instead, we might be obsolete in the next few years. So hence, macam, okay, let's gamble on digital gift card. That might be where it's at in the next few years. So that's where I was trying to develop the business lah. So my focus was not on macam app and all this stuff. Atau si Ina yang ano tu punya initiative.
So you were saying that at the time, Ina was the one who was championing the app, but you just wanted to do the product development, right? So basically like selling the digital gift cards. But so that means your idea at the time, since it wasn't the app, back then you were hoping to do it on the website lah.
Masa tu, we were still, hold on, let me get there lah.
Yep, the facts straight.
So it's all over the place right now.
No, I understand. It's a very big story, which is why it's 2 parts.
Masa ya building itu, ada idea sudah for the app. Tapi I was also building the business development section. We don't have proper business model at the time kan. And si Ina was very keen on macam we should be doing app. I said, I don't have the skill yet, right? Masa tu, I've never published any app other than one simple game at Play Store. And what she did was, macam, okay, let me try na. Maybe dapat. And then ia buat Swift kan tu, Apple version. When I see it, like, it was just a simple way. In my head, it was overwhelmingly difficult. Macam, I need to do this page, I need to do this page, I need to do this page. In her prototype, there was like 4 pages. It was so simple, and then it was just linked. So from there on, I was like, rather than overwhelmed, I felt macam, oh shit, this is actually possible. There's a path forward now. I just saw this tweet lah, like boleh buat both operating system at once. Pakai, it was React Native tu. And macam, let me just try lah membuat. And then it's easy. Senang-senang belajar masa tu kan. I think I push it like 2 weeks after kali. And then ready to launch kali lah pasal tu. But purely from si Ina showing me it's possible pakai prototype and it's not overwhelmingly complex. Yeah.
Funny enough, what you said there reminded me of a quote I heard recently. Something a lot of people think is impossible, right? Once someone does it once, everybody can start doing it somehow.
Oh, why is that?
That's the rough idea of the quote, yeah. It's because like when no one does it, you think it's not done because it's impossible. But when someone shows you it can be done, then your mind will do a shift. It will think, hey, if they can do it, I also can, right? Technically. That's what it reminds me of lah. So yes, it makes sense. So basically, it was an impossible task before Ina showed you that it could be done. But once she showed you, right, it kind of gave you this like extending hand to pull you up where you needed to be pulled. And then after that, everything just like fell into place.
That is true. That's true.
This is actually a very nice story. I'm glad we will share it onto like this interview. Yeah, that's amazing.
I think for orang software developer, sometimes we think too complex macam apa, everything looks complex. So we know macam a lot of things kan. Sekali macam the solution might be really simple, like few lines of code or few pages saja. Atau macam trying to simplify what customer actually want versus what we think they want is more complex than what they actually really want. That was interesting for me lah.
Yep, fair enough. In a way, yes, we can all learn from that story. Because I'm sure at one point of our lives or development cycle, we have definitely thought that way as well. Like, oh, this is what we should do. But then I'm sure we've all done that before. No worries. Okay, that's amazing. So I think that covers really well what you do at Rapidbump and how you guys like work together. What is a team like scope lah, basically. So now I will be moving to the second question. Okay, so Ina already mentioned what you'll be showing at HobbyFest, right? And just to recap with people who are listening, so basically we'll be showcasing a QR code to the latest version of Rapidbump on Android 14.
Correct.
You and Ina won't physically be present, but we will do the representing for you, just letting the listener know. So that's Rapidbump. And now, not that I want to move it away from Rapidbump, but in a sense, I kind of want to steer it away to Arc, okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
But that's the thing. Every time I talk to you about Arc, you always mention Arc Game Studios, right? But I noticed something in your website. When you scroll down the Rapidbump website, it says Arc Enterprises, right? So it's actually not just Arc Game Studios.
Yes. So how I say it lah, kami is from Arc Enterprise lah. When we registered Tara Brunei ROC, it's Arc Enterprise. Rapidbump is one product. So Rap is marketplace kena, tapi it's a product from Arc Enterprise. So I was thinking macam there will be another product like Arc Game Studio or yang we wanted to release next time macam Fuse for example. So we'll have this bunch of products managed by Arc Enterprise. Yes.
Okay, yes. I think that's where the confusion comes in because in our circle, which is the game development circle, every time you mention just Arc, we assume Arc Game Studios because that is the account that you use like usually for game development.
Maybe I should rename it Kali or something.
No, not rename lah. I think you just have to tell people next time like at pitches lah. I mean, it's my fault for misunderstanding, but even though I misunderstood, I kind of get it at the end because I saw the website, right? Arc Enterprise, so I kind of already piece it together lah. Okay, I mean, maybe I can't spell
we're not a lawyer, so...
No, I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
Lawyers,
it should be okay, yeah. Okay, I will stop that train of thought because I have literally no experience to talk anything properly about that, just in case I get anything wrong. But for this question, I think the important thing is that we delineated between Arc Enterprise and Arc Gaming Studios and Rapidbump. So they're all connected, but not in the way that we think. Because my impression first time when you told us about Rapidbump and Arc Game Studios, I thought they were just two separate things, like completely separate. But they're actually linked under Arc Enterprise lah, right? Would you say that's correct?
I have not asked permission pula si Ina on Arc Game Studio ni. It's still macam in my head, right? But I use it as a path for building game jams and stuff. We don't have products, we don't have employee. Tapi if we do, the thing about ideas is the more you do it, the more realistic it becomes. And then once people come in, it becomes something tangible. So ideas can quickly become realistic the more you work on it lah.
Yeah, I mean we're dreamers as well, so that is our objective too, to make it real, right? So so hey, I totally relate. And you know what's a good thing? The next question is just that. What are your plans for Arc?
Okay.
Well, I mean, okay, so now that I know what Arc is, like, okay, you can take this question in two ways, right? Either what is your plan for Arc Enterprise, which I think shouldn't be the question, no offense lah, okay? Because I think the more interesting question for this interview would be, what are your plans for Arc Game Studios? Yeah. Because that's the dream, right? Arc is technically operational already, and technically we did just cover the latest stuff you did, which is the Android 14 version Rapidbump, and we spoke outside recording about Fuse. That's too early to share, right? Yeah. So technically there's only one way to go here, which is Arc Studios. So would you like to talk a bit more about what are your plans on that? Even though they're just dreams or not like confirmed yet, what do you think?
Being a game developer has been a passion since childhood benar. From, I can't remember exactly when, but it was masa I was Form 4, I guess. Masa tu, komunis masih ada and we can just buy C++, apa lagi tu?
Yep.
What was the 3D modeling tool ni dulu? Max Studios, 3D Max Studio. I think so. So
I will just preface this early lah. I am a late convert into development,
Ah,
so all
okay,
of this
okay.
to me is new. So just, yeah, go ahead lah, go ahead. I will try my best to keep up, but yes, I might just lose some of it, but go ahead.
Tapi ini, this is old tools pula.
All I remember is Power Goo.
Apa namanya? Oh, I've never heard of that.
So that's how bad and out of touch. I think that was my dad's time.
Oh, okay. I remember ada cinema 3D, there was Maya kali at the time. Tapi yang available kadai komunis was
Damn.
3D Max kali. So it was something fancy lah.
Nice. But it was cheap, right? Because it's
Oh,
communist at
it
the
was
time.
cheap lah. So what happened masa tu, kumpul-kumpul duit. Pasal I always wanted to build a game. I'm an avid gamer lah. Dari damit, my dad teach me since I was 3 kali semua tu. It was
Damn,
game
that's
like
amazing.
Flight Simulator 1995 punya Windows kali. So there's Flight Film Simulator, some games. I don't even remember apa the names. So I grew up playing games and I grew up wanting to build games.
Nice.
So masa when I was sudah I was 14, macam I realised macam I saw C++ masa tu. Maybe I should try building one kan. And I bought this book. Mahal It was $50 kali. Yayasan.
For like Form 4, that's a lot of money, yeah.
So macam kumpul-kumpul duit lah. That's, pasal I wanted to learn kan. So I buy it. It was DirectX 11 building with 3D. So I learned and I start building lah. I never publish anything. But from there on, I started learning macam mana membuat games, macam mana the loop, macam mana all this feedback loop and design. Yeah, tapi game development, huge huge field like modeling, arts, design, AI, gila, banyak
Yeah, not to mention you learn it from a book as well.
Yeah, masa tu internet belum lagi berapa.
Yeah, and books were not thin. That book was thick, right?
It was, and you can't refer if you don't understand anything. You can't refer macam appendix or internet.
Exactly. You have to read the whole thing. Yeah.
So you have to trial and error the codes. That's what happened actually. These codes.
Yeah.
So that was hard.
Damn.
Unnecessarily hard lah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Mad respect though, because yes, we have very different stories, and these kind of stories are super interesting to me because they're so different.
So yeah, Arc Game Studio is a passion project. It's something I want to build dari dulu. So that's what it is. It will forever be there until I realize that dream. So it will happen somehow.
Yep. Hey, we'll all figure it out
Yeah.
together because at the end of the day, our goals are the same, right? We want to make the field like viable.
Oh.
Here. Cool. So that's your plan, lah. So basically, you just need to continue getting the experience and like, accumulating all these skills to
Alright.
make it start one day. Okay, brilliant.
So on my part, pasal game development, I realized the more I try it, the more I realize how much money it requires compared to other venture I did. And then the more I feel like I need people involved. These are not something like a one person can build. You can if you know how to do arts.
I mean, yeah,
programming.
there's caveats to
Oh.
everything, lah, for sure.
So macam right now, I use other ventures I have right now to learn hiring, to learn getting the funds. And then later on, once I have all these resources and the skills, then baru I bring it to my passion project, which is Art Game Studio.
That's very sensible. I think that's good. Like, as long as you have a logical plan, I think it can't go
Of
wrong
course.
in a sense. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's worth mentioning that for HobbyFest, we will be showing some of Art Game stuff, like the games that you have the prototype on your Art Game Studio page. And also, there'll be some of the badges in the rewards pool. There'll be Art Game Studio badges as well. So we have Rapidbump and Art badge rewards in the pool. So yeah. Cool. So, do you have any like projected time for that? I mean, I'm not asking you to put a number on it, but what would you expect like in terms of time?
Okay.
Well, actually, I guess yeah, what I said doesn't make sense. I'm literally asking you.
So right now, we have a roadmap for Arc Enterprise, Rapidbump and our other products lah. With the skill that I will gather from that, I believe like Arc Game Studio might be possible in the next 3 to 5 years. Inshallah.
Brilliant.
Assuming that I can push a lot of my other operations slowly kena replaced and delegated by other people lah. So the only concern is time lah for me.
Cool. That's amazing to hear actually. Yeah.
There's a plan. There's a plan for everything.
Yeah. I think last time we spoke, you were mentioning about scaling for possibly like Arc Studios as well. So you actually have plans for staff and delegation already set up.
So for us, macam Rapidbump hiring is the next step. We're joining the accelerator program, so it's starting to feel like I know what to do next. Macam in terms of hiring, in terms of finding the right people, And now possibly macam kalau we couldn't find office je no, I said that we could find somewhere else. But I know the value of having to hire people lah. More differently than I had thought few months ago.
Was it such a big difference, you think?
Yes, I think so. I cannot put value in it pulang yet. So I need to try it.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I think that's the right move as well. Because theory is good, but you need to experience it to finally hammer in the lesson. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so yeah, I'll leave that for now. One day we'll follow up on that. Not necessarily in an interview, maybe just in like a general chat or something.
Of course,
but yes, we will definitely like follow through, don't worry.
Then I will share macam how wrong I was, something.
Yeah, I mean, hey, like, you know, the last interview I did with Cheetah, we were actually talking, I don't think we recorded this, talking about like possibly just do regular recording just to like see how everyone's doing. And, you know, that would be the perfect place to kind of follow up on the narrative. Like, hey, you wanted to do this back then. How is it going? What do you learn? It'll be a valuable thing to share as well.
Yeah, that would be cool pulang.
Yeah, so I think, yes, for sure. I'm very excited to see where you guys go as well. So at the very least, you'll have one person wanting to know and asking. So I'm sure you have more, not just me, but I'm just saying. Yeah. You have my interest in that.
Accountability je.
Yep, exactly. I talked about that last week too, yes. Technically, all of this is a weird roundabout way to have public accountability. to kind of keep us in the right track, yeah. Okay, awesome. So yeah, that's good to hear, the plans for ARC. I hope it goes well, and I'm very interested to see where that goes. Now, I think let's do the fun questions.
Okay.
But funny enough, your fun question is actually kind of serious. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Everyone got like fun questions. Okay, yours is a bit more serious because it's to do with what we were talking about just now, right?
Okay.
Before the recording, we were talking about sponsorship.
Mm-hmm.
So I noticed recently a lot of people tend to approach you for sponsorship, and
It's been ever since kami started kali to, like 2018, 2019 jata. More and more people approach us lah. Not just recently.
okay, I see. But the thing is, I noticed recently because I think we've only recently been working this close in proximity.
Okay, yeah.
So yes, so I've noticed that recently that people are asking you a lot for sponsorship, and one of the unfortunate things that I kind of see like in that process is that sometimes a lot of younger people don't really, because they're not really that experienced, they end up asking for sponsorship out of kindness. Does that make sense? So they're just saying, can you sponsor me just because you're nice? You know what I mean? And I feel like that's it's hard to watch as someone who kind of knows it's a negotiation, right?
Yeah.
So that's your fun question. It's not that fun. So the question, right, phrasing this as a question is, this is specifically to address and give advice to those younger people, okay, who are asking for this kind of sponsorship. So this is a personal question. Let's say if one of those kids who ask you for a sponsor just out of altruism alone, what kind of things would actually be useful for you to hear from them, you know? You being their potential sponsors. So in a way, right, what advice would you give people who are looking for sponsorship? Like what kind of things would you like to see for you to actually, you know, have confidence and be willing to sponsor them, as opposed to what they're doing now, which is kind of like no real objective. Just say, hey, can I have a sponsor, full stop? Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm hoping this question helps them out if they're listening, so that next time they know, if I want to ask for sponsor, this is at least Hafiz's point of view, what is useful for them to prepare.
Okay. I might need to think about this.
Yeah, take your time. And also, yes, the fun questions are, I call them fun, they're actually very difficult to answer. Maybe the fun question is the wrong term.
Opinion,
Yeah. So technically all the fun questions are actually like this. Okay. It's just that yours has a bit more of a young tone to it.
Kalau for me, sponsoring ada dua side. So if I see someone macam almost successful, tapi their obstacle is money, and I can provide them, and they cannot provide anything else. And if I see that macam, they can pay this back later on anyway, I might be okay to sponsor. Tapi kalau macam, itu personal side lah. Tapi kalau macam going for business side, there will need to be an exchange of value somehow. So macam it doesn't have to be like you buy me something or equal value of could be just macam some effort showing that ada marketing ka or something.
Yeah, it's a negotiation, right? Nothing is free.
Some negotiation lah. So that they understood that these are not something for free. Because in real life, people are not just handing you over solutions. You have to macam learn that you have to provide them something, some values. So what I want them, for orang yang macam very young, is to actually figure out next time they ask someone for sponsors, like how can I help you so that you can help me macam mana? Then people are more willing to provide you that thing yang you're asking for. That's my point of view. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good advice. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a trade, alright? You cannot just give out stuff for free, because otherwise that's not sustainable for you as well.
Oh, it's something for them to actually learn later on.
The thing that people tend to overlook is that sponsorship is not necessarily charity. It's more of a negotiation, trade of value, but what kind of stuff could a potential young investor prepare for you? As in, like, they have to pitch and stuff before, right? Presumably. What kind of stuff would make you feel confident that they won't squander it? Does that make sense? So in a sense, I'm trying to make this into advice for young people asking for sponsorship. Like, what kind of stuff should they be aware of? And what kind of stuff would you be interested in actually seeing? Because, some of the answers out there, right? Depending on who you ask, they might have different preference. They might not care about this, that part. So I'm asking you for your case here. What are the kind of things you want to see in a pitch to make you feel confident that this person is worthy of what you can give, basically? Or what they're asking for, yeah.
Okay. Although I never actually have this experience macam investing on someone, but if they do and I'm the only one that can help them in hypothetical situation what I want to see is what is their plan. Say macam they need 10,000 for example, or 5,000 dia jangan 10,000, 5,000, tapi macam what is their plan with that? I want to know macam are they going to just burn that on marketing, or are they going to resolve something that is blocking them? For example, this guy is a developer and then he has a lot of ideas like mechanics and then it's interesting mechanics but he is not an artist. So what he can do with that money is macam hire freelancer on art to make that thing yang before was an obstacle to that person to become a full product, like musicnya ada for example So that to me, that 5,000 is well spent. So at least by the end of that project, siap ada something that will be there lah. Tapi if they use it on some unproven thing like marketing. Like marketing can be so wrong. Sometimes you spend like 5,000, you got nothing out of it. That is a dangerous path.
That's not a small value loss, yeah.
Oh, and then there's nothing in return, nothing tangible at all, nothing for you to show in the end.
Yeah, it's kind of like you just lit it all on fire. Yeah.
Oh, that's a very risky place to spend that money lah. So what I want to see is something macam a good plan and then a good place where you would put this money to.
It's a very nice and sensible answer. And presumably that's not the only thing but that's the key. Would you say that's the main thing that you want to see? If they have like a pitch package, right? That's the most important thing.
I guess so. Macam you just have to be responsible on how you would use that money lah.
Yeah, that's a really good answer, yeah. Awesome. Let's say you met a youth who is kind of like, you're seeing them experience what you experienced back then, just when you were about to do V1. What kind of advice would you give them? What kind of advice would current you give the past you? Does that make sense? Or whoever this young person is who is in a similar spot as you back then?
Which is Hafiz 5 years later giving advice to...
So, okay, the question is a bit double. Like, there's a double side to it, right? On the one hand, yes, if you're literally talking to yourself, that's one. But on the other hand, if you're seeing someone who is not you, but in your position back then, because the advice would be different now, I guess, right?
Okay.
Okay, this one's more fun. but still just as like complicated. You'll have to think about it. Yeah.
My situation masa tu, it was actually a lack of knowledge of macam how business works and what people actually want. Pasal at that time, you see like bunch of things kena buat like Facebook, Instagram at the time. You think that these are just cool things people when the developer buat, everybody just pakai kan. I did not have the knowledge masa tu yang there are actually solving certain problems in the world. Society problem as in macam, okay, for example,
let's say Uber.
Okay, Uber does have a problem they really solve. Pasal they're replacing taxi yang government funded and it's more expensive. So what happened is things like Uber, Airbnb, they're supposed to cut costs for people. It's a cheaper alternative at that time. It was masa financial crisis financial crisis ke tak?
I'm not sure.
I think Airbnb was masa tu financial crisis 2008. I don't remember Uber. When was Uber? 2009. Ah yeah, almost there. I think 2008 crisis was there, and Uber was macam in that situation. Everything else was expensive. People lose their job, but people still need to move around, and everybody needs some alternative yang cheap. So they provided using the technology that exists at the time, iPhone, baru kan tu, baru release, to create a system where all this bureaucracy is removed. And it's become cheaper, like everybody start like Airbnb, anyone can just rent dorang punya room, apartment without having to macam going for developer or estate manager handling it. So no fees apa, they can just register the app and done with it. So they actually solve a society problem at the time. What I learned after building Rapidbump, I was actually solving a problem that was faced by a lot of Bruneian especially macam they don't have region access to certain content kan tak? So what happened is Rapidbump created the distribution to make it easier. They don't have debit card, Visa card yang access to macam Apple punya US version. They can't use dorang punya Visa. So what happened is they have to use Apple gift card. So Rapidbump creates that efficient way to distribute this stuff, and it costs less in comparison to macam if dorang beli retail shops. So what I learned there is when you build something, don't build just for fun. Build something that actually solves certain problem in society. It's creating value to the world, something like that lah. Even though macam it's simple, but you have something to give to society somehow. Something that other people yang doesn't have the knowledge you have cannot create this themselves. So that way you provide to the society lah. I feel that's my big learning years later after I have encountered all this on a journey. So if I am going to know someone 5 years before or someone who is in the same position, I would tell them, look at the world right now. What can you give them with what you know that it will benefit a lot of people? That's all I think I would say. And I think that should be enough to spark something.
Yeah, that's deep, dude.
Game developer pun ada tu. I'm sure you have some games ideas, some joy you want to give to the world.
Do you mind elaborating on that? So, what you mentioned just now about finding what you can contribute to the space, basically, right?
Yeah.
You're saying that also applies to game development? So, what is the gap there? Are you making a game that hasn't been done before, or you know what I mean? How would you phrase that? Yeah.
Okay. So, games is, to me lah, this is my point of view of what game is. Game is entertainment, a form of escapism. Tapi why do people want to escape? They want to experience certain experience that they have not experienced. So, one form of escapism they go for is movies, and then books, and then now the games, right? So why do people go to movies? They want to experience certain things like dystopian cities or certain places that they have never gone to, like US, or certain cities in the US, for example, or Europe where there's a lot of community, for example. So what people want to seek is experience that you have experienced before. So as game developer, you have like for example, you're an introvert and then you have sociality, for example. And not a lot of people have social anxiety, like facing with other people. You have like vertigo, for example. Not everyone have experienced vertigo before. So what you can do is contribute to the world. Like for some people who have social anxiety, this is what they feel. You can translate that to a story somehow and bring your audience into that situation where how vertigo actually feels like for people who have never experienced it. So these people who seek escapism want to feel something that they have not, and games can provide that. So does movies, so does books. So that's how you can contribute. You can just share your story, share some unique perspective you have for the world, or how you something like that.
That's a brilliant answer. Yeah. I did not think about it that way until you broke it down, which is why I wanted to ask that question. That's an amazing answer, dude. I really appreciate that. So one last tributary to that question, right? So this is like branching out of that question again, but a deeper level now. Okay, so that's brilliant, what you said. But that's more towards a social impact game, right? Your description, I think. Is that fair to say? So it's because you're trying to show like societal values and gaps of that, basically, right? Would you say that's fair? Because I was gonna steer it in a different direction. Like a lot of us, maybe this is getting too close to home, but a lot of us right now who are working in the indie game scene in Brunei, we want to make these fantastical games that are not really... Okay, I'm not saying there's no social impact, but it's more of like fun escapism in a sense that, you're just like, you're just going around fighting stuff.
Boleh.
So what would the justification for, or rather not justification, what would the gap be for that? Does that make sense? What do you think?
Actually, I didn't thought of it as social impact games. Macam Bloodborne lah, for example. It's about Victorian era and how poverty happens masa tu and social structure kan. So what I believe yang transfer of experience for your audience to feel kan tu, I think it's transferable for non-social impact game juga. Pasal macam Bloodborne is Victorian era and it's talking about societal problem kan tu. Ada different hierarchy of people masa tu. There's elite people, academia, and then there's people who just live there. And at the time, people who just live there, ada some of it ada in poverty. And then there's also people who are grave digging, for example, something like that lah. So orang yang ada this current era, which is modern times, they have never experienced that. Or some people yang macam ada Asia have never experienced UK, which is where the Victorian buildings and all this stuff. So by creating this certain experience that is unique to certain time or certain places with unique architecture, you provide that experience for everybody, equally for orang dari UK who also living in that Victorian era building, but they have not experienced the societal problem at that time, masa Victorian era tu. So they equally bring these people and transport them into that experience, but somehow with certain twists. So that experience satu tu. So for us yang indie, to me, you have a unique story to tell. Like experience kena bully, for example, experience of your childhood, exploring Bukit Syahbandar, for example. Not everyone has that unique experience. Or the experience of feeling scared. That's something which people seek as escapism. To me lah.
Yeah, that is amazing, dude. Before this, my mind was not flexible enough to understand. I was just thinking, oh, so it's just like, social stuff, like going to UKs in the community. But when you bring it into Bloodborne, which I never really understood how that translates back, because in my head, right, Bloodborne is just about fighting really bad demons. so when you bring it that way, and I do see like the points you're making, like there as someone who's finished Bloodborne as well, yes, I totally see that, but I missed it. And you having said that has now unlocked an additional layer that I feel will actually help me in like making games as well. Because sometimes there's this disconnect, right? When we're making games, we're thinking, what am I contributing here with this game? Because the story-wise, it's already been done, and we're finding that hook. Like, why is this interesting for me to make, and why should people play it? And I think what your answer did was dissect that. So that's really amazing to know. Yeah, okay, if you think about it this way, it becomes a bit clearer to find what your hook is. And that is genuinely like eye-opening and pretty amazing, so yeah. Perfect second question. And yeah, and frankly, like I think that is the perfect end to the Pre-HobbyFest content.
I have never answered this question, so never been asked some deep question like this.
Well, you know what? It's the first time for everyone, right? I mean, that's literally, like, I only thought about that question on the spot too, based on what you said. So we're all learning together.
Oh.
Damn, yeah. I know. It's good to end on a high note.
Thank you, Jed.
Yep, no worries. Thanks so much for joining me as well. So it's not over yet. Technically, that is the questions lah. Okay, so the interview is over, but let's just do some housekeeping. So for this Hobby Fest, we'll be collaborating with Rapidbump. So we'll be showcasing their Android 14 version of Rapidbump there. At the same time, they will be sponsoring the main gifts for our booth, which is 15 USD worth of Rapid Wallet, which you can choose to buy anything in their catalog lah. So essentially, the original idea was Steam, but I think Rapid Wallet will be a better choice because that gives you flexibility to actually select whatever your console of choice is.
Macam Spotify, access to PlayStation, eShop, whatever you adalah.
Yeah, so I think that will make it a more powerful gift as well. So for those of you interested, please come down to HobbyFest and check out the Android 14 version of Rapidbump, because that is the precondition to actually win the lucky draw prize. Damn it, I didn't mention lucky draw. How do you say that? Okay, so yeah, this is normal in the process, by the way.
In between.
Yes, exactly. Okay, let me think. Okay, let me try that again. So actually, our interview, the first part, Ato, is quite unusual because it was quite smooth. Usually, this is what it's like from the beginning to the end. Just like, oh shit, sorry, like in between cut. Okay, so never mind. Let me skip that part. I'll just go to the final part, and then we'll come back to the lucky draw later. Okay. So yes. So that's what Rapidbump is doing in this collaboration with us for Cahoots Booth. So for this post, I will have the link to Rapidbump Google Play Store, their Apple App Store, their website, and also their itch.io profile for Art Game Studio. It'll all be in the caption link. And I think that's about it. So Do you have anything to add, Hafiz, before we go?
No, I don't have anything. I think you covered everything perfectly.
All right, brilliant. So thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully we can do this again one day. Doesn't matter online or offline. We'll definitely catch up.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so for now, to the listeners, thank you so much for listening and stopping by. We'll see you on HobbyFest, which is the 2nd and the 3rd of December, which is next Saturday and Sunday. We'll be there pretty much probably 10 to 5 or later, depending on whoever is there and the mood that we get. I'm planning to stay the whole day, but we'll see how it goes. Come down, play our demos, and win great prizes. So yeah, thanks so much. I'll be stopping the recording. Yeah, okay, and that's usually where I end, but now we need to record the lucky draw, so...
Okay.
Are you seeing the behind
Do
the
you want
scenes
me to add?
process?
Do you want me to add? Unda pa ya kala? I think
Add
you
what?
just...
Oh, yeah, which one?
When you say today, I think I
Oh,
don't...
no,
have to
I
say
think that's
anything.
perfect. I think that's perfect. Because what you want to add is only if you have lah. I mean, not everybody added stuff as well, so it's fine. Not to mention, I can always remove it if you feel comfortable that way as well. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. How do we bring in the lucky draw? Huh? So I mentioned the Steam gift cards.
Also, you have a kind of specific requirement, kan? For
Yeah.
the-
Okay. So maybe I'll structure it that way. I'll just talk about. I'll kind of treat this as a precursor to the post I'll make end of this week and early next week lah. Okay. So I'll just explain. All right. Okay.
USD 15 worth of any gift cards yang available.
Okay.
lah,
Yes. Okay. I'll write it
Something
down.
like
Wait. USD 15. Yeah, that's a good way to say it. Available on
Otherwise,
the store.
macam orang yang not our customer feel macam left out or something.
Yes. Okay. USD 15 of any gift cards available on the Rapidbump store. Okay. And then, okay, wait. So, I want to mention the lucky draw. Okay. So, I'm just going to make bullet points, yeah? So, there's a lucky draw. And then it's true via Rapidbump. The delivery is via Rapidbump.
And then macam if you're not a customer of Rapidbump, you can register on the spot if you
Yes. Okay.
which is fine.
Yeah, that's important, yeah. If not customer or not existing user lah. So basically non-existing user are eligible as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Non-existing users are eligible as long as they create an account before the draw. Yeah, there you
So
go.
that we can send the
Yeah.
the prices.
Yeah, so as wait. Non-existing users are eligible as long as they create an account before the draw, so that we can, send the rewards, the prizes lah. Okay. All right. I think let's try this out. Hi. Okay, last one. All right. Okay, ready? All right. Oh, I forgot bullet points. Wait, mention Steam gift cards. Okay. All right. Let's try it. Let's just wing it and see how it goes. All right. So just a bit of housekeeping about Rapidbump's collaboration for Cahoots Booth at this HobbyFest. Aside from having the latest Android 14 version of their app that we're showcasing through a QR code that you can try on the spot, they'll also be sponsoring USD $15 worth of any gift cards available on the Rapidbump store. We'll be delivering these gifts by the Rapidbump app itself, so you'll need to have an account, which is why we're showcasing the 14 there as well, so we can actually guide you through the whole process. For non-existing users, you are still eligible to the lucky draw as long as you create an account before the draw, which we will announce at a later date. And we'll also tell you more details of the lucky draw later, hopefully sometime next week. The reason why to be eligible for the lucky draw you need a Rapidbump account is because we'll be sending you the gifts, the USD $15 gift cards, if you happen to win, through the Rapidbump app itself. Come down, play our demos, and win great prizes. So yeah, thanks so much. I'll be stopping the recording